Facebook on Twitter, Ask Eurosport. As for us, we can hand over to our commentary team.
Most enduring rivalry preparing for its 73rd chapter here at the home of this great sport. O'Sullivan 36, Higgins 33, 3 draws. This their 6th meeting at the Crucible Theatre.
O'Sullivan, he's been pretty serene in his 3 matches, never really been troubled. He's played the 2 best of 25s, he's gone into session 3.
Yes, Higgins led for most of the match against Lazowski, but then found himself right at the death line. Higgins did that. For O'Sullivan, it's been a lot more surreal, hasn't it? Aside from the moment that he found himself 3-0 behind in the first round, a record equalling 7th Crucible title, but of course Higgins just as hungry for number 5. The meetings as juniors.
Has to be said that the table didn't play brilliantly this afternoon, and I have to be honest, I've noticed that here. The first afternoon of the semi-final, day 1 at the Crucible, into their position, and of course when they go down to the 1 table, they've got about 12 hours to get all that right. They finished late last night. I'm not saying John doesn't, but Ronnie seems able to adapt to things not being pristine as far as the conditions.
More than 2 out of 3. It's an area of his game that's arguably stronger now than it's been at any other time of his career. He's pushed the red over the pocket. Has he got the cover?
One.
Pretty much an element of control. Plant was delightful. You have to be almost...
For Higgins, it's his 11th. Chips were down when it really mattered. The sheer bottle,
16.
Higgins is arguably the best of all time. We know at the Crucible. And with that in mind, the silver lining is no damage as regards leaving O'Sullivan a chance, but
angles though. Doesn't matter about getting the cue ball back audibly unless the pink goes. I think he can get to the pink.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
quite a cagey portion. A mistake from O'Sullivan.
A couple of matches in particular was just as good as it gets, really. It's going to be John who made that happen.
Those last year. He's had recent success against O'Sullivan quite regularly. But that's the second opportunity he's now had in this first frame. Generous enough for Higgins' liking there.
To a red. Play it with a... I think in some ways the semi-final coming on the back of... Certainly not by being too tired. I think the
17. 25.
It would certainly annoy Higgins.
33.
But position is lost.
Sort of a fairly containing safety, I think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 38.
Mate.
Chance number 3 after the frustration for O'Sullivan in not being sure how to play that safety. It could actually work in his favour.
Seven.
And of course, oh, he'd overcut that. That was never anywhere near.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
So
14.
It's in another frame in this entire semi-final. This is number 4. Both acutely aware of the need to make an early mark.
Well, he would be playing on the brown, and that would be
9.
that
21. 26.
It would have seemed unthinkable, the first frame. Pretty tense stuff at the start of this. The 4th time of asking. He's mopped up the colours. And it's the 4 times champion of the world who takes the early lead. To lead 1-0. 8 frames in session 1. Not visible at the moment. Not even a blur in the distance. 17, of course, required for a place in the final.
well, that's a very cool opening red. And I guess the thing about that pole is that it could be one. Every shot that's being played looks just a fraction.
Hit it beautifully. How's his luck? Engaged in perhaps the greatest Crucible final of them all
Higgins,
the following
14.
year against beat him in 2011.
This is where it gets no easier. Higgins really did have to.
One. Seven.
Sullivan can make breaks.
13.
I mean, clearly the red on the left. So here he's playing on that bottom red, so that's gone. And he pots it now. And that's what is called high-class break building.
He's made 191 centuries at the Crucible alone,
24.
O'Sullivan.
25.
Marcel Eckhart checking to see if there's room for the black spot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Background with the pandemic and the fact that it was largely played behind closed doors, but O'Sullivan was able to adjust, as he so often does, regardless of the venue, of the situation.
41.
Next shot would have been easier. Fairly limiting what he could achieve there, but he's on the top one.
Just to that red. Yeah, not a gimme by any stretch now. Where's the red going to end up?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 46.
That's a good shot, that is. And then that was exactly where he played it, in that corner on the left side. Very well.
1.
Oh goodness, he's missed the red. Well, I didn't think of that part.
John
I
Higgins.
don't think he did either.
5.
Yes, another good safety from O'Sullivan, keeping the pressure on. In this tournament, he could not have got any closer. Wow.
Well, that's right.
1. Nine.
We know he's a master of the double.
15.
Well, that's it. That's very good. Now, all of a sudden, he's opened the door.
$29.
But no problem for Higgins.
I think he gave that one a little bit extra, knowing the table. And really,
38.
it's very early in a long match, but no
41.
great.
O'Sullivan took on the long red to a 2-0 lead. It's been with the early advantage, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is already leaving the arena. For him, chances, yes, but it's John Higgins who's taken both. He leads early on, 2-0. Taken the first 2 frames, tense frames. Thoroughly engrossing fair between these two titans of the game, but a slow burn at the start of this session. The final butterflies as Higgins watches O'Sullivan breaking. They're back tomorrow afternoon. They play to a finish on Saturday evening.
And once again, the thick safety shot doesn't quite make it all the way to the baulk cushion. It's not a bad shot. Missed it on the thin side, which is the right way to miss them if you are going to miss them. Best not to miss, but that's
He spent at the table. And against Allen, just 9 frames lost in the second round and the last 8.
well, that was the 2 reds were quite a long way apart. Yeah, but as you can see, these reds are not dead set to the pocket.
Five. 13.
A few weeks ago. Now, beating Jack Lisowski made him feel a little bit better about things, because he's looked at we've never really noticed before. I know he'd lost in 3 finals in a row here. Something of a failure. Certain players who are used to winning.
It's a century and 72 after Lisowski had missed a red when he got the first chance in the decider. Having struggled at times earlier in the match. He's not struggling at the moment, of course.
43.
I guess that's easy for me to say when he's 2-0 up, might be 3-0 up, but he looks...
51.
Played it really nicely, actually. Still... He's not coming at the plant now from a...
And he has missed it. He looked at it for a long time. Perhaps not entirely confident
Higgins,
about the
58.
plant. Shake of the head from Higgins now then.
One.
That is very sweetly cued. But he's caught the near jaw with the black, so here is a chance for O'Sullivan to make a counter in this third frame.
Straight up at somebody. I didn't actually see the incident.
One.
I say incident, it wasn't really an incident. Even though we're down to one table, you know, even the...
Higgins, and he knocked that black in, was looking good for 3-0. O'Sullivan still to really settle into his stride in the early... If you get your opportunity, concentration has to be absolute, not just at the table, but...
17.
Career, O'Sullivan hoping to give him a taste of his own medicine.
Didn't stop him. Oh, goodness me, that is the case there. Well, that won't make him feel any better. He's absolutely incensed.
Feels like a significant moment, doesn't it?
Nine.
It's already 3 snookers. And that is now losing position, so uncharacteristic. It was a chance to inflict a bit of pain on Higgins, who he can forget about all of that.
19. 23. 28.
It's been a very frustrating start for O'Sullivan, it has to be said.
He has the edge, and then some. He leads 3-0. The other of his rivals that he's faced down the years in John Higgins. Between these two legends, and very much advantage John Higgins, and it'll be fascinating now to see how O'Sullivan responds to the manner in which he lost that frame when he had a chance to steal. Yeah, a bit worried at, well, Higgins is obviously cueing brilliantly, but it's none of my doing, but clearly... Probably bears repeating as well that Higgins...
Let's be honest, if they're both at their best, there's a little nudge of good or bad luck between them.
thing about the opening exchanges of this match is that it is pretty tense stuff. It's tense out there. Of his triumphs in the past. I fancy he'll be consulted once or twice during the course of this semi-final. Another mistake, an unintended cannon.
I mean, if Ronnie can take any comfort from anything that's happened tonight, he's made 2 safety errors in this frame and he's not left one.
Sets of frames, this mini session that they've played throughout their long and wonderful rivalry. But this is no ordinary match, of course. This is for a place in the world final. Ronnie O'Sullivan chasing history, looking to equal Stephen Hendry's tally of 6 Crucible titles.
Well, it was clearly on the red, but he saw no value in playing it. Oh, is it that very thick? Very, very thick. And now surely the red is potable this time for John. The cube will hit the bump of the right middle. I'm sure he's concentrating on this frame, and now something's come up again.
Now, obviously, the black is awkward.
There's no need for him to panic this year's championship yet, and he kind of won the match pretty comfortably, 10-5. Not this frame will be
19.
Small steps, but something.
Help ease the pain of the previous frame. Thin cut along the rail. So it's a question of
32.
Evening or the first session. You're just taking it piece by piece.
38.
Hit that one well.
45.
It's a good shot. Ah, beautiful. Pink or black. And I think that's a pretty important contribution here that we're seeing from O'Sullivan. 10 in the match. He needed a frame. So at last he's on the scoreboard now.
thinnish cuts into the opposite corner pockets with those reds just now. All of this the result of John Higgins taking on the blue into the green pocket. He has announced himself. Oh, he's